Hans Geisler on the screen here. This is the commander build I'm using for the new line of German aircraft carriers. Hello, I am Zarkoon and this is World of Warships Legends. Today on the Greece map, in a domination mode game, we are featuring the Tier 7 tech tree German aircraft carrier August von Parseval. And I know a lot of you don't like to watch aircraft carrier gameplay. I understand, but this is important, and those of you who don't like aircraft carrier gameplay are probably going to like what I have to say here. I think these German aircraft carriers are a problem, and we're going to talk about why. The main reason has to do with the ordnance they drop. These German aircraft carriers, unlike the American or Japanese ones, do not come equipped with high explosive bombs. Instead, they have armor-piercing bombs. And armor-piercing bombs can score citadels, which are critical hits. Critical damage, and battleships in particular can only heal 10% of citadel damage. Keep that in mind as you watch this next sequence here. We see an enemy Georgia out on the seas. This guy has bought out the campaign. He's thought, I'm going to come out and have fun with this new American battleship. Well, if he thought he was going to have fun, he thought wrong, because the fun police have finally arrived, and it's raining citadels. 2 citadels, in fact, on that Georgia for 22,000 damage. Now, he ain't healing any of that back. You can score citadels on battleships with these German aircraft carriers. You can score citadels on cruisers. I think I damn near dev-struck a Chapayev with the Parseval yesterday. I hit him for, I think, 2 citadels and just 1 penetrating bomb hit, and it was like 20,000 damage. He had almost no health left after that. He was basically a one-shot kill for any of my teammates. It's just disgusting what these things can do. And not only is the Tier 7 carrier capable of doing this, but the Tier 5 carrier is capable of doing this as well. It's horrific. I've not been able to really play the Tier 3 carrier. The matchmaking is just too broken at this point, with everybody trying to get into a match using the aircraft carriers, but the Tier 5 and the Tier 7, ridiculously strong AP dive bombers. So there's that. But also, these aircraft carriers have the fastest torpedoes in the game in terms of airdrop torpedoes. I think the Parseval's torpedoes have a base speed of 55 knots. That's faster than the torpedoes dropped by either the Lexington or the Shokaku, and that makes them easier to hit, much easier to hit, especially on destroyers. You'll notice that I also put Space Fishy as a commander inspiration for Geisler. So I think I've got these torpedoes going at 58 knots. Now, of course, if you don't have Geisler, you could use Reinhard Scheer as the commander on this carrier, and you could get an extra 4 knot of torpedo speed that way if you have the first line of his skills fully maxed. So you'd be getting these torpedoes near 60 knots. That makes them very, very easy to land, and they might not do as much damage as like the Shokaku's torpedoes, but really, does it matter? I don't think so. Not if you're consistently hitting them. And, you know, there is only really one downside to this AP ordnance, and that is that it doesn't score any damage, any really meaningful damage against destroyers. Since it's AP ordnance, destroyers don't have citadels, so what you get is over-penetrations, and those are only worth like 900-something damage because the Alpha Strike on these AP bombs is 9k, and overpens give you 10% of the Alpha Strike value. But that's where the torpedoes come in. You just use the torpedoes against destroyers, you're good. In fact, I think I've dev-struck a Japanese torpedo boat destroyer with these torpedoes. So these German aircraft carriers, great torpedo characteristics, ridiculously powerful AP dive bombs, also the fastest planes in the game. You'll see with the engine boost active, I've got these going at 189 knots, at least one of the squadrons. I think the dive bombers do, maybe the torpedo bombers are a little bit slower. In any case, they're super fast. What's the downside to these carriers? Well, there really isn't one, apart from the fact that one type of attack planes can't really do that much damage to destroyers. And they're kind of conspicuous. They're not as well concealed as the American or Japanese ones, but it doesn't really matter. Whereas in the Lexington and Shokaku, you might want to use that concealment to move the carrier itself closer to the action to reduce the amount of time it takes for your planes to get to the enemy ships. You don't really have to worry about that too much in the German carriers because they go super fast, and for whatever reason, they also get an extra consumable. They get 4 charges of the engine cooldown and fighter plane or combat air patrol consumables when using fully packed. I think they start off with base 3 of them. I believe the American and Japanese only have 2, and then fully packed gives you 3. With fully packed on these German carriers, it gives you 4 of each. So with those 4 engine cooldown consumables, you can essentially keep these planes going at 180 knots for the entire duration of the game, and you almost never have to move your carrier. On bigger maps, you probably do want to move it to get at least a little bit closer to one flank or another, but you never really have to put yourself in danger with these German aircraft carriers. You can sit much further away than you can in the IJN or USN ones, and you can still exert massive amounts of influence over the game. Take a look at this Bismarck. I mean, he's on about half health here, right? So we're going to come down with a bomb drop, and boom, another 2 citadels. It continues to rain citadels, and unfortunately for this Bismarck, more citadels are in the forecast. He's the only ship over here. It's only his AA we have to worry about, and he's not going to be able to take down the rest of our attack squadron here. We're going to drop again, and half health Bismarck reduced to no health. There's our 3rd kill of the game. We're up to 100,000 damage in roughly 6 minutes. The only thing actually preventing us from getting more damage is the fact that this game is going to end so quickly. And that's why I haven't been able to get a lot of damage in these things, because at least on the first day of this update, these games were just ending too quickly. But I've seen my Russian community contributor counterparts get like 221,000 damage in this thing. It's just ridiculous. And I think this is a problem. I don't like the concept of AP bombs, because there's no counterplay to them. What are you supposed to do? All you can do is rely on your AA gunners to shoot down the planes, and in fairness, these planes are squishy. I think they're squishier than both the American or Japanese ones, so AA does rip them apart. But, you know, if you want to guarantee that you get a full strike off with at least, 3 of your planes, all you do is use the new consumable there to the left hand of the consumable row, the evasive maneuvers consumable, which gives you 6 seconds of invincibility. AA can't damage your planes when that consumable is active, and you can guarantee that you're going to get through whatever anti-aircraft firepower there is. And these planes are fast enough that 6 seconds is more than enough to guarantee that you get all 3 planes dropping their ordnance. So, this is a problem, in my view. I don't like that you can score citadel damage from the sky. There's nothing that these ships can do to prevent it. They can only rely on their AA guns. It's not like they can list their ships to the side to angle against the sky. So, yeah, I guess just dodge? I don't know. I don't think this is a good addition to the game. I think these things are way too powerful. They need to tone them down a bit. They need to reduce the alpha strike on the AP bombs or something, or not allow the planes to go this fast. I honestly don't know. I'm not a fan of these German aircraft carriers. I will say that in the course of testing them out, I did have a little bit of fun playing them, quite a bit of fun if I'm being totally honest, but in sort of an evil, dirty kind of way. I felt really bad after ruining the games of some of these battleships, in particular that Georgia. I mean, there was nothing he could do. So, this is problematic. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.